Just welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling a big one, a really powerful idea. The soulmate. Is there actually, one person out there, perfectly matched, just waiting for destiny?
Yeah, that whole idea of the one.
Exactly, the person who completes you. It's everywhere, movies, songs.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate romantic dream, right?
It really is.
Hmm.
But as you said, the deeper you look, the more complicated it gets than that simple fairy tale.
So, our mission today.
Our mission is definitely to challenge that simple story. We want to get way beyond the Hollywood version.
Okay.
We're going to unpack the whole soulmate concept, look at its ancient roots, how different cultures saw destiny and partnership, things like that.
Right, not just the modern view.
Exactly. Then we'll look at how modern media has, frankly, kind of twisted those older ideas.
Okay.
And finally, bring in the science. What does the research actually say about what makes relationships, work long term?
All right, let's start with that core romantic idea, because that's what really drives people's hopes, I think.
Generally, we think of a soulmate as someone just perfectly suited. You have this deep, lasting connection, maybe even instant.
And the key part is that it feels fated.
Yes, like destiny brought you together. You didn't build it, you just found it.
Right. But that idea, that specific notion of finding this effortless, fated thing, it bumps up against cultural differences almost immediately.
How so?
Well, once you step outside those, Western rom-com tropes, the whole concept gets way more nuanced. It's definitely not some universal constant.
Okay.
The meaning really changes depending on the culture you're looking at.
And this is where the sources get really fascinating. Let's talk about Jewish culture, for instance.
Yeah.
The term bashert.
Yes, basher. You hear it a lot.
People often just translate it as like predestined spouse, right?
Yeah.
But what's really behind it?
Well, it's definitely richer than just, a cute term for a perfect match. Bashert does imply a match intended by divine will.
Okay, so destiny is involved. It is. But here's the twist compared to the modern idea. Finding your bashert, historically anyway, often involved really practical stuff. Practical, like what?
Like community guidance, family involvement. So yeah, the match might be preordained, but aligning that destiny, that often relies on the community. It suggests your ideal partner is out there, sure, but you still have to actively, participate, search, recognize them.
So it's not just passive waiting.
Not at all. And there's this sense that the match serves a purpose maybe beyond just your individual romantic happiness.
That's a really key difference. Destiny, but with active participation. We see something kind of similar but different in Hindu traditions with the idea of a karmic bond, right?
That's right, a karmic bond that suggests your connection to someone else is tied to actions and experiences across past lives.
So not just this lifetime.
Exactly. It's like an ongoing relationship, maybe even a contract that continues until some certain lessons are learned or debts are balanced out.
Wow, that really expands the time frame.
It does. It suggests that really intense relationships, even the difficult ones, might actually be part of this long-term multi-life thing focused on growth.
Talking about intense relationships,
Yeah.
we also need to push back on that idea that soulmates are only romantic partners. The sources seem pretty clear on this.
Absolutely clear. People talk about soulmates who are friends or mentors, even family members sometimes, people who show up at just the right moment to teach you something vital.
So it's more about the depth of connection, the spiritual resonance maybe, not just romance.
Precisely. It's broader than just romantic or sexual attraction. Okay, and within that broader scope, there are these subcategories people talk about: past life soulmates, soul teachers, and then there's the big one, twin flames. Ah, yes, twin flames.
We really need to draw a line here, don't we? Because people confuse them with regular soulmates all the time, but they sound different.
Yeah.
Very different.
That's a crucial distinction, yeah. Especially for you, the learner, listening. A traditional soulmate often implies harmony, ease, compatibility, a comfortable fit. Twin flames, almost the opposite. The idea is you're two halves of the same soul split apart.
Okay.
But that reunion, instead of being smooth, is often marked by intense mirroring, major challenges, transformation. Sometimes it's really, really difficult.
Difficult how?
Well, twin flame connections are often described as catalysts. They force you to evolve, to face your shadow self. It's not about finding someone to just relax and be comfy with.
It sounds more like finding someone who forces you to grow, maybe even painfully.
Often, yes. That's the idea. Intense growth.
Okay, so whether you're looking for that comfortable bashert or the challenging twin flame, Why the intense search? What drives so many people to look for these connections?
Well, the core motivation seems pretty constant, doesn't it? Companionship, love, that feeling of
Yeah,
completeness.
that deep human need.
And that need, that universal desire, gets relentlessly shaped and maybe even exploited by media.
Ah, the movie effect.
Totally. Romantic stories, they play a massive role. We're constantly fed these tropes about what true love has to look like.
Like the meet cute, the instant spark.
Exactly. The chaotic but perfect meeting, the overwhelming immediate connection, and then maybe the grand gesture, like the run through the airport.
Yeah, the proof it's meant to be.
Right. And the underlying message there is kind of insidious, isn't it? If it's really meant to be, it should be effortless, dramatic, instant.
Which sets up this emotional trap. That seems like the big danger, applying that rigid, media-fueled idea to real life.
It absolutely is. For one thing, you end up with wildly unrealistic expectations for any actual person you meet.
Expecting magic instead of a human being.
Pretty much. You're
Yeah.
waiting for this perfect, fully formed compliment to just arrive and fix everything. And that focus makes you miss the potential in relationships that are, imperfect, messy, real.
And the pressure must be huge.
Yeah.
If the story is true happiness, finding destiny, then any relationship that needs work, communication, compromise.
Must be wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly. You might end up ditching perfectly good partners because they don't deliver that instant fictional magic.
It makes people passive, waiting for the universe.
Yes. Waiting for the finished product instead of focusing on the actual work of building a relationship. Which brings us to the big pivot. We need to shift from myth and media to, well, the lab.
To the science.
If destiny isn't doing the work, what does science tell us about relationships that last? Does science confirm Basher?
Well, spoiler alert.
Yeah?
The scientific verdict is, maybe unsurprisingly, a firm no.
Right. From a measurable perspective, there's just no concrete evidence for predetermined matches by some cosmic force. You can't really test it or track it scientifically.
But what can science measure?
Well, we can measure compatibility and relationship success. And when researchers study long-term happy partnerships, they don't find destiny dust.
They find what?
They find actionable behaviors. And this is the really crucial part, I think. Successful partnerships are built. They're built on things like mutual understanding, good communication, shared values.
Okay, effective communication. That sounds a bit textbooky.
Yeah.
What does the data actually show? What replaces destiny?
Well, the data's actually really cool. Take someone like John Gottman, the relationship researcher.
Yeah, I've heard of his work. His studies found this critical thing, the 5-to-1 ratio. 5-to-1.
Yeah. In stable, happy relationships, for every one negative interaction, like a criticism or complaint, there are 5 positive ones.
5 positives for every negative.
Exactly. And that's not destiny, right? That's conscious effort. Actively cultivating appreciation, affection. It's also about being able to make what he calls repair attempts during arguments.
Repair attempts.
Yeah, like a deliberate skill you use to de-escalate tension. A joke, a touch, saying sorry. It's a learned behavior, not magic.
So the foundation isn't some mystical connection. It's shared kindness, shared effort to fix things.
Pretty much. And then there are shared values. Does that mean liking the same movies? No.
Okay, good.
It means sharing a basic life philosophy, especially on the big things, money, kids, commitment itself. And even more importantly, it's about creating shared meaning.
Shared meaning. What's that?
Successful couples, they don't just live together. They build a kind of mini culture. Shared rituals, inside jokes, stories, things that reinforce their identity as as a team.
So you're not finding someone who completes you.
No. You're building something new together, a shared identity.
Wait a minute. So are you saying that intense feeling, that instant compatibility we might label soulmate, that's maybe just really strong short-term chemistry getting mistaken for destiny?
That's a very plausible interpretation, yes.
And the real lasting compatibility has to be actively built over time.
That's what the relationship science strongly suggests. It puts the power and the responsibility back on the individuals in the relationship.
Okay, but we still have to acknowledge how powerful the idea of a soulmate is, right? Why does it stick around if science doesn't back it?
Absolutely. And that's where the human connection hypothesis comes in. If soulmates aren't, scientifically real, why the strong belief? It probably ties back to our fundamental, maybe evolutionary need for deep, secure bonds.
Our brains are just wired for it.
Seems likely. That drive to connect deeply, it's linked to hormones like oxytocin, the cuddle hormone.
Okay.
It promotes attachment, security, We are biologically geared to seek out strong emotional bonds. So when we do find someone who provides that safety, that mutual positive feeling, remember the 5-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
The feeling is so intense, so profound that our brains might just leap to a bigger explanation like, this feels so special, it must be destiny.
It feels supernatural, so we assume it is.
Kind of, yeah. And we absolutely cannot just dismiss personal experiences here.
No, you can't. If you talk to people who feel they have found their soulmate, they'll talk about that intense connection, that deep knowing, that feeling of coming home. For them, the proof is in the feeling. It's overwhelming.
That subjective experience is totally valid and undeniable for the person having it. But critical thinking means we also have to look at the other side. Many people find incredible happiness and fulfillment in relationships they grew into. Relationships that didn't start with fireworks, but with quiet, steady effort and building that shared meaning we talked about.
So anecdotes are powerful, but not proof of a universal rule.
Exactly. Those deeply moving personal stories don't definitively prove that there's one single fated partner pre-assigned to everyone. The data suggests happiness is more often built through effort, not found through cosmic luck.
Wow, okay. This has been quite the journey. We went from the cultural depth of Bashert, the fire of twin flames, through the maybe distorting lens of movies and media,
Yeah.
and landed on the measurable, actionable science of what makes relationships actually tick.
It's complex, isn't it? And
Yeah.
really subjective.
Totally. The truth about soulmates isn't simple.
And that subjectivity, that's really key, I think, whether you personally choose to believe in a predetermined soulmate or not. What genuinely matters for your relationships is your ability to find and then cultivate and maintain love, happiness, fulfillment with the person you choose.
So it's less about waiting for the universe to deliver.
And much more about the active, hopefully joyful work of creating a shared life. Cultivating those things science tells us actually work, like that 5-to-1 ratio, communication, shared meaning.
It's up to us, the individuals.
It really is. It's up to you, listening, to decide what this concept means for you and how you approach your connections with others.
Which leaves us with one last thought, a provocative one for you to chew on.
Okay.
If successful, lasting relationships are really built on things you do, that 5-to-1 ratio, communication, shared values, all that active stuff, and not on passive destiny, does believing in a soulmate actually help us? Does it empower the search for love? Or does it maybe risk making us just wait passively for some impossible ideal, an ideal we should maybe right now be actively trying to build?